They probably think you're just a sweaty freak. You can't have a boyfriend, you can't go to college, and you can't even control your own brain.
I really enjoyed the movie. As someone who deals with family members who have OCD, this was a very powerful story. So you guys did a very beautiful job tackling this. We're seeing a bigger focus now on mental health more than ever. What was important for you to add to the conversation with this film and the story?
Well, when I was writing the book, I was thinking about how so many representations of OCD, which I've lived with for my entire life, so many of the representations in movies and books either romanticize it, like it's a disease that comes with superpowers, like Sherlock Holmes is, terribly troubled, but also a brilliant detective, or stigmatizes it. And there's a focus on the sort of look at this freakish person with the freakish compulsive behaviors they use to manage their anxiety. And I really wanted to try to tell what I've experienced to be the true story of OCD, which is a lot more complicated and a lot less simple and straightforward, and in some ways less visual. And one of the things that really made me nervous about turning this into a film was that so much of the book depends upon the interiority of Aza's consciousness, and I don't know how you make that visual. But then, fortunately, Hannah Marks does know how you make it visual and did a brilliant job and made a really special movie.
Thank you so much to both of you. I'm glad that you felt like the representation was well done. So thank you.
For you, Hannah, when dealing with all of Aza's inner thoughts and what she's seeing in terms of bacteria and what she thinks is happening to her body, how did you approach that as a director? Because those are very, huge scenes to tackle in general, I guess.
Definitely. Well, it all starts on the page, and John's book was so incredible and already something I related to so deeply. I love Aza and have so much compassion for Aza because I really have seen her as myself at different times in my life. And now, as I've gotten older, I really relate to the other characters in the story and the people that surround her, and just trying to keep in mind all of the characters in their own journeys while directing, while also mixing that with the microscope footage and the rhythm of the cuts and the music and the sound choices to really make it feel like Aza's brain and feel in the world of the story that John created.
John, I want to go back to what you were talking about how other media, for example, romanticize the idea of OCD. So for people who may not be as familiar with OCD and also just this type of mental health struggle, what do you both hope that they take away from this story?
In my opinion, any story that tells the truth of mental illness is a hopeful story because the truth is hopeful. There is cause for hope. There is treatment. People do get better. And that's the main thing that I want people to take away is a sense of hope. But I also want them to take away a sense of the reality of suffering and how challenging psychic pain can be. It's a really funny movie. It's a fun movie. We wanted it to be a really, a great experience. But what I hope people take away is that psychic pain is real. It doesn't define you. It's not the only thing in your life if you experience it, but it is really real and really powerful.
Also, I was wondering if I could ask just about the ending when it comes to when Daisy is kind of telling Aza about the kind of life she will have. Are we supposed to interpret that as that's what is going to happen, or is that just what Aza is imagining in her head? Because I was really curious, I wonder where they're going with here, if they're supposed to be open-ended or not.
I think we're supposed to be open-ended. I think we're supposed to not for sure know if this is Daisy's prophecy or a future Daisy calling back to Aza. Is that fair?
I mean, to me, it's more one possibility for her future and reminding her that just because there's bad, there will also be good.
Right.
I think it's showing that life is filled with both happiness and sadness, and that's okay, and that's what makes it full. So to me, it's one possibility for her future, but there are many possibilities because she's not, she doesn't need to be limited.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately the argument I wanted to make in the book, is that you can live with serious mental illness as I do, as I have throughout my adult life, and also have a really fulfilling, rich life. That those experiences aren't mutually exclusive. There have certainly been times when it's been difficult for me to enjoy or appreciate or be fully part of life in the ways that I want to be. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a full life.
John, you've had so many of your books adapted to the screen. Is there another story of yours that you're hoping to see come to life at some point, or maybe one that you have in the works that we might be seeing soon?
Oh no, I'm good. I feel like It's going to be hard to top this experience. And my new book is about it's a nonfiction book about the history of human responses to tuberculosis. So I'm not sure that Hollywood would be beating down my door for the adaptation rights to that one.
But John knows, however, I have raised my hand. I have not read it, but I will direct anything that John asks me to. He's actually actively not asking me.
You do a great job.
I would love to be a part of it.
And Hannah, what do you have coming up that we can look forward to seeing?
I have a movie called Razlokhan, which I have not filmed yet, but I have written, and it's based on a true story of a real heist that happened recently.
The biggest heist of all time.
It is the biggest heist of all time, due to the nature of cryptocurrency.
Correct.
But it's kind of a wild world that I've started learning about, and I'm endlessly fascinated by it.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time today, and I can't wait for people to see this film, and hopefully they will learn something new about this, as because it was definitely a new thing for me as someone who already deals with family who has it. So, guys, thank you so much for your time today, and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much.